Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Marie Falbo. On today's show, we're taking a look at the many ways people are making an impact across the Garden State. From women coming together to support their communities, to a developer with a fascinating story and a lasting footprint here in New Jersey. For more than a century, women across New Jersey have been making a difference in their communities. The New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs brings together thousands of members statewide, supporting everything from scholarships to families and children in need. Joining us now is the organization's president, Barbara McCloskey. Welcome, Barbara, to the show.
And I'm thrilled to be here and be able to share my message.
Well, we have to first shout out Impact 100 because
Yes.
that's where we met not too long ago. And immediately you emailed me about your mission and I fell in love with it. So thank you, Celeste and everyone at Impact for bringing us together.
Oh, it's wonderful. I've been following them for quite a while and it was nice to see you there too.
It's women supporting women. It's the way of the game now. You have to do it.
It certainly is.
You have to do it. So for those who may not be familiar, tell us about your organization.
Well, the New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs was founded in 1894, so it's 132 years old. I'm the 59th president, and we have women all across the state, from all the way from Vineland to Vernon, over 6,000 women. Women have made a difference for many, many years in different locations across New Jersey, and we have our own actual headquarters on the Douglas campus on Rutgers University, where many of us meet, and we have an office staff there, and we help make a difference with all the clubs, because clubs act individually to help support their communities, and then we all work together to do common causes.
6,000 women.
Yes.
And you've been in existence since 1894. How have, I mean, you're the 59th president, but the 58 prior to you, how did you all keep this thing going?
Well, the women are so passionate in all their communities working together, and we have a board of about 40 women, which has been all along. There's always been a board of directors. They used to meet in Newark. For 40 years they had an office in Newark, and the women would travel, the board members, from all over the state. And think about in the early 1900s how they had to travel to get to their meetings, and how women were so passionate even back then that they wanted to make a difference. And they actually, the women started the New Jersey College for Women, now Douglas College, in 1918. And Mabel Smith Douglas walked door to door collecting money, and she was angry that Rutgers would not accept women at the time. So the women of the Federation decided they were going to make a difference, and they lobbied, and they were able to open with 54 women, now called Douglas Residential College, which we still support alumni and the Douglas students with scholarships. We've raised over $1 million towards buildings and programs, and we still meet with the young ladies that come to our headquarters so they know what their history is about. So the women have been passionate about making a difference from year one, really. And even though we had 44,000 women in the 60s, we still are making a difference, even if we have a much smaller group of women who are just as passionate as the women that came before us.
How did you join the organization?
Well, I've been in the Federation for 39 years. I was 30, my son was born, and I didn't have to go back to work, and I've always wanted to volunteer. The Junior Women's Club in Denville Rockaway was there for me from the beginning, and because we're women with such passion, and we have different interests, we could either collect children's books, we could read to students, we can raise money for scholarships. So there were so many different varieties of things we could do to support women and children and veterans and seniors. There was a nice variety that's what I've always liked about it, that you can pick and choose what you'd like to be part of. And the women, you make such good friends with all of them that you end up doing a lot of it for fun. There's a lot of socializing, but it's not difficult to do community service when everyone around you has the same passion and the same feeling of wanting to make a difference.
So you've supported so many initiatives, like you said, from Operation Holiday Stockings to scholarships and everything in between. So dive a little deeper into some of those initiatives.
Well, one of our biggest programs that is the most popular with our women is the Holiday Stockings. And Last year we did 2,700 stockings statewide and raised over $7,000. And Operation Jersey Cares takes all the stockings and delivers them to the troops, but the overseas and veterans' homes. But the women fill them with personal items and toiletries. They decorate them. Some of the clubs do 100 stockings. Some just do 20. But they start collecting their stockings over the summer because they know we're going to do this project, and it's been around since 2007. And every year we have found other organizations before Operation Jersey Cares to deliver the stockings to different locations. So that's one of the huge programs the women love. The other one is Girls Career Institute.
I was going to bring that up because I just love that mission.
So that's been around since 1947, and it's on the Douglas campus. The clubs sponsor the students there, the 165 or so students. They sponsor them every year, and the girls get a 4-day college experience on the Douglas campus. They sleep in the dorm, and they eat in the cafeteria, and they go swimming. The best part of it is that women who have in different professions come and speak to them. So the girls get an idea of law enforcement, people in banking, environment. They have all different workshops that they could take, and they hear about different kinds of careers, and that's been a big thing that they've really enjoyed. But to see the young ladies, they come on Sunday, and by Thursday you would think they were best friends and knew each other forever. It's such an experience for me to go and to actually see them. And the house mothers are all volunteer club women, including the nurse. And again, it's been around since 1947, and we are going to be there again June 1st through June 5th on the Douglas campus.
So lifelong friendships they're making, and then they could also see, thanks to the collective that you're bringing in, they can do anything that they set their mind to.
Well, what's nice is so many of the students go back and speak to the clubs afterwards and tell them about their experiences. And so many of them say, oh, I found a different profession, or I saw something different I liked, and have made new friends, because we pair them with girls they don't know. So they can meet somebody from Vineland and they're from Vernon. And heard last year they had a reunion, and like 30 or 40 of them got together, and they all say they text each other, and they make lifelong friends from this. And the club women, 95 clubs this year are sponsoring girls. And more than that are donating finances, money towards it, because Rutgers charges us a lot of money for the program. So we need to raise money to support that. So that's been a very successful program, and the women really do love it.
How are you raising money?
Well, the clubs raise their own money separately, for donations and things. But our federation and our headquarters building is expensive too. And right now, as of May 1st, it's the 60th anniversary of our headquarters building. And we just had a fundraiser where we sold S&H green stamp replica pins, because the headquarters building was built with money raised from women who had to donate either $2 or a full book of S&H green stamp stamp books, and raised 3/4 of the money for our headquarters building. But because Rutgers charges us to lease the land, we have to raise money every year to pay for that. And this year's fundraiser raised well over the money that Rutgers charges us this year, and will give us money towards next year. So that was one fundraiser for the land. But we have to do fundraising that the clubs support us, Tricky Trays and other fundraising, so we could support our part-time staff and pay for electricity and heat and everything else that we have to support. So that's the clubs usually help us raise that money with dues. We also have dues. Clubs pay, members pay $25 per member for dues, but that's not enough to be able to pay for everything that we have to run in our headquarters building.
Congratulations on all of that, because we are in a climate right now where nonprofits are struggling, and you're thriving.
We are, especially with 6,000 women that are helping us. They don't always understand why we need their money, but when they see what we do for them and how we support them with our headquarters building and everything that we do there, and our board members and all, And there are a few different fundraisers we do that they really like. We might have authors come and speak, or we do a tricky tray kind of fundraiser with speakers. But it's been harder and harder to raise money because they like to give the money to their communities, which is impressive for sure. But when you look at that, last year we figured out about 30,000 projects statewide were done by clubs all over New Jersey, and we've raised over $1,200,000 in in-kind donations that the clubs have donated across New Jersey. So they really like to support their communities. So it's making it more difficult for us to raise money to support ourselves, really.
But you have your hands in so many other initiatives. Another one I want to call out, you also pack book bags for kids in need before school starts.
Well, New Jersey Children's Alliance is our 2-year state project right now, and we've had a 2-year project statewide since 1970. Every 2 years, the clubs recently have voted on what project they want to work on. So last summer, the clubs donated 700 filled backpacks to support the children who New Jersey Children's Alliance have in their different locations throughout the state. And we just did duffel bags also. I think they did 500 duffel bags. They might have done more than that the clubs, we only allowed them to do 2 or 3 each because we just don't have room for thousands of all these products that they end up. If we ask for one thing from the clubs, they love donating things. We get hundreds and thousands of things that they donate. They're all at headquarters, and then we disperse them, whether with support or people come and get them. But New Jersey Children's Alliance has really benefited from us because that's what ends up happening. Whatever special state project we have, we ask them, what do you need for in-kind donations? We help fundraise, and then the women may even volunteer at their locations.
For women watching that want to get involved, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, our website is njsfwc.org, and there's a listing in the membership section on the website of where our clubs are in every county. They can either do that or they can call our office, and part-time staff could help them find location, because sometimes one club may work better than another. It's a lot of times it's personality, or if they have interesting projects that they like to do, that they don't necessarily have to be in a club that's in their town. If they find a group of people that fit it better, then, I belong to 4 clubs myself.
Well, that's why you're the president. So, you clearly love this.
And the passion and dedication of the women makes it so wonderful. I've visited almost 60 clubs in the last 2 years, and I honestly would like to join every one of them because the women are so passionate. They love to talk about their projects and how they're raising money and how they work together. A lot of them have book clubs and canasta, mahjong, knitting groups. So they socialize, and that makes them more passionate with each other when they see what things that they're interested in.
What if someone realizes that they want to join a club, but there's not in their own town? Can they start one?
We would love to start new clubs. We have in the last 2 years started 4 new clubs and a juniorette club, which is 13 to 18. And we're always looking to start clubs in communities, and our board is there to help them do that. We will come in and help them with how to do bylaws and how to set things up, maybe do a little fundraising. So we are here to help them, our board. We have a state membership chairman, a state leadership chairman, and we're more than happy. I travel down to Cape May, I go up to Vernon, and our staff or our women are more than happy to travel to help other women if they'd like to start something.
Support at every level. Give the website one more time.
So it's njsfwc.org. And just for people to know, we are part of General Federation of Women's Clubs, which is headquartered in Washington, D.C. There are clubs in all 50 states and 12 countries. So we also have a bigger part of what we're involved with, and Operation Smile, which is an organization that helps children with cleft palates, and we are being honored for all of the donations and the support our clubs have given to them over the years. So we do things on a bigger scale besides just our own state.
Unbelievable organization. Barbara, thank you so much for coming here today.
Well, I'm thrilled that I'm able to spread our message and tell everyone what we do.
From helping shape one of New Jersey's most infamous attractions to building major developments across the state, Andy Mulvihill has had a front row seat to some truly unique chapters in New Jersey history and is continuing to make an impact today. Joining us now is developer and entrepreneur Andy Mulvihill. Andy, it's so great to have you here.
Hey, it's great to be here. This is going to be exciting. Let's talk about some fun things.
I hear the little action park in my head as I was introducing you. So let's start there and your family's involvement in Action Park.
Well, yeah, that seems to be one thing people really want to talk about. In fact, I have to say I was at a fundraiser for the current governor, Mikey, and I wanted to talk to her about education, and all she wanted to talk about was Action Park. So it's not uncommon that we find our way there. And why is that? Because it was like an incredible place. It was a place that my father got involved with. He had a ski area that he lent some guys some money to, and they couldn't pay him, so they gave him the keys. And he says, I got the ski area, what do I do in the off season? And he got the idea of putting in a few rides here and there. And this was before there were water parks around the country. And so he just tried a few things, and all of a sudden we turned around and there were 15,000 people a day coming to the place.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was his background, your father?
My father grew up in West Orange, New Jersey, working class family. His father was a union organizer. He went to Lehigh. He was a Marine. He served in the Marine Corps, and then he became a stock salesman, and then he opened up his own brokerage business, and he was a serial entrepreneur. He was involved in cellular telephone business, magnetic resonance, cancer research, you name it, he did it, and then and development, a lot of development work.
Was Action Park his favorite venture?
My mom used to say all the other work that he did, he just earned money doing that so he could put it into the Action Park. It was about fun. It was about creating a place that people could have a good time, but he wanted to do something that was unique, something that people hadn't seen, to give them an experience they had never had, and so he invented a lot of rides or found inventors for rides. See, he didn't have the funds that a great adventure had or a Disney had, so we had to be really creative to be competitive. And so we went out and found things like the Alpine Slide, or like a bungee tower, or a cannonball loop, or a water slide with a full 360-degree loop, or a water slide with a jump, or a ride you could fly in, race cars you could drive, go-karts, speedboats. I mean, we had it all, but it was all about you control the action. So he wanted to take the idea of skiing. So in skiing, if you want to be safe, you go on the bunny hill, you go slow. If you want to take some risks and go fast and have a thrill, you go up on the moguls and in the trees, and you get hurt, but it's fun. So he applied that to amusement parks, and it created a place that people loved, but unfortunately some people would get hurt from time to time.
Yeah, things got a little wild there. What was it like growing up in that environment?
Imagine you're 14 and all of a sudden your dad has a ski area and all your buddies can go skiing with you. You get free ski tickets. And then he starts an amusement park, and I was a skateboard patrolman was my first job, though he did make me dig a lot of ditches and rake a lot of rocks as well. But then there was a water world, and he put me in there as the head lifeguard, where there was fun all day and lots of pretty girls running around in bathing suits. And then we got into the golf business, and when in my 20s, he opened a brewery up when I turned 18, so I never ran out of beer. And then he had a wine collection. So when I'm in my 40s, unbelievable wine collection. That's when you drink wine. So it all seemed to revolve around me, but it was all about having fun.
I don't know if your other siblings would agree with that, though.
I think they all kind of enjoyed it. Probably not quite as much as I did, though.
Are you the oldest of the six?
No, I'm right in the middle.
Oh,
There's 6 of us, and all 6 of us worked at the Action Park growing up, and it was quite an experience. Of the 6, 3 are involved in a business that we have up there now called Crystal Springs.
You make it sound like just a little business.
Well, it's, something that we do that we have some fun doing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the premier destination at this point, vacation in northern New Jersey for sure.
Just taking a ride an hour away up to Crystal Springs seems to be something a lot of people are doing.
Especially in the fall with the leaves, it's so magical up there.
Yeah, we're fortunate that, there's so much open space between, the mountains and the hillsides that it's absolutely gorgeous. And we were lucky that we were able to assemble the land that we were. I mean, it took us 30 years to get all the approvals and get all the land and do all the construction that we did to create what we have. But yeah, it is a magical place.
It really is. So growing up with a serial entrepreneur obviously rubbed off on you and your career. So how did you fall into that?
Well, I was lucky. I went to some great schools. I went to the Peck School in Morristown and then Newark Academy. And then I went out and did 4 years in California at Stanford. And I had a great college advisor who later on advised the Bushes. Condoleezza Rice was my college advisor, believe it or not. And after that, I went to work for my father at the resort. And I decided to focus on the real estate side of things. And we started building some condos at the bottom of the mountain, and then we built some golf courses, and then we did some hotels and some spas and some restaurants, and all of a sudden we turned around and we had quite a big place.
What are some of the projects you were most proud of?
Of all the things I've built, the thing is my favorite room is in the Red Tail Lodge, the Hawk's Nest room in the ski area. And this Hawk's Nest room, you got to go up there. It's awesome. It's got high ceilings, a huge fireplace, outdoor fire pits. It's all wood, stone. It's spectacular. So that was fun. The Grand Cascades Lodge is pretty cool. When I did that, any project that I have, you have an empty slate and you say, who are my customers? What am I trying to achieve? But the lesson I always took from my father is, what are we going to do that's unique and different? How is this going to be special? Why are people going to say, want to come there? So I looked far and long, I looked at a lot of what other people were doing, and then I tried to bring it into the context of where we were. And I said, we don't really need another Brooklyn or Manhattan hotel out in the country. We need like a place that's kind of lodgy. And so I said, it's got to be a lodge. And then thought about different things we could do, water attractions, indoor attractions. I mean, it was in our blood. So of course we had to do an indoor water area with a water slide and a jacuzzi and hot tubs and steam and sauna and outdoor pools too. And I said, why don't we have a restaurant that's in a garden with a smoker, a spit, a bread oven that you can all see. And so we did the Chef's Garden, and it was a spectacular success. And then lots of other things too, just to try to do something different and unique. And it's been a huge success.
But I think you hit it though, when you said that you didn't want to do something you would find in Manhattan, in the middle of God's country, the Garden State, right? I mean, you really stayed true to that area. And I think that's why you've been able to flourish like you have.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, Andy, you are clearly so passionate, so driven. How does all of this, your advocacy work, passion about education, business, entrepreneurship, how does that all tie together for you?
When I was raising money for this policy institute, and I would ask my friends to come, and I thought about what will resonate with them. I mean, people give money to causes that's in their own self-interest typically. They give money to politicians that will help them. So the things that they're focused on, who really wants to give money to a guy that's trying to improve test scores of kids in math in New Jersey? But where I appealed to them is I said, you guys, I know most of these guys had all their own businesses and they all made it on their own. And they believe in, meritocracy. They believe that you got to go there and you got to work hard, but you have to have an opportunity. Everyone believes that there should be an equal opportunity. They don't believe in equal outcomes, which is like communism. They believe in equal opportunity. And I can tell you, if we don't educate the kids in New Jersey, we're not giving them equal opportunity. If a kid in only 10% of the kids in Newark can do the reading and math, that's not right. That's not fair. So if you really want to live, if you really live in what you believe in, you got to try to do something for those kids so that it's fair, so that everyone has a shot at it. And I think most of my friends believe in that.
Andy, where can people find out more about you and to follow all of your journeys?
Well, Crystal Springs, you got to come up and visit that. I mean, it's roaring. The wine cellar has got some of the finest wines going. The indoor pools this time of year. Spring's about to hit, so golf season's open. 6 golf courses there. So the Crystal Springs, you can find it online. And then the New Jersey Policy Institute, you can find that online too. And you'll see a lot of neat initiatives that we're doing. And some good takes on some of the issues at hand.
Andy, thank you so much for the conversation. It was great to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week. Next time on Your New Jersey.
But owning your own stuff, being the brand, making the deals, gives you, if you're good at it, the flexibility to do the other things. Like we're taping on a Friday. Fridays are supposed to be a day off. So I go to Pilates this morning, I go to the gym, I do certain things, I chill, and then I read and get ready for a taping that's coming up on Monday. You have your own schedule. But people go, I want to be my own boss. You want to be your own boss? You better be able to bring in deals, run a tight ship, have everyone on your team do 10 different things, and frankly, realize that you are not just the brand, but if you don't bring in the money to pay those people, every 2 weeks, you can't have an operation. So I've learned more about, like we're in your control room, Pam, your great director. I was looking at, I don't know what she was talking about. She's showing me the board. I don't really understand that. I don't understand what goes on over there, meaning I don't understand how broadcasting takes place, how streaming takes place. On the technology, I'm not great. I understand the economics. I understand the team building. I understand the business, the relationship building, the sponsors. To me, that's media leadership, and I'm obsessed with media leadership, media entrepreneurism. Actually, when you and Gerald came on one of our series, Media Matters, I'm fascinated by how you guys have built this. Someone goes, oh, they're a streaming service. 3 years ago you started? Mm-hmm. To be where you are right now, to have the debate. I mean, everyone fought for that gubernatorial debate. The fact that On NJ won it, people are like, well, how'd they win it? Well, they out-hustled everybody.